Hi, this is Rachel Israel with STEM News and Global World Report. We have breaking news that will have a huge impact on the global scene in the very near future. Let's take a look at what's going on around the world.
Thank you, Rachel, and now to our man on the scene.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, let's dive into a hot topic, Donald Trump's recent threat to the BRICS nations and what it means for global trade. So, what exactly is going on? Recently, former President Donald Trump issued a stern warning to BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. He threatened to slap them with a whopping 100% tariff if they move away from the US dollar. Why is this such a big deal? Well, the US dollar has been the dominant currency in global trade for decades. Many countries use it for international transactions and hold it as a reserve currency. But the BRICS nations are exploring alternatives. They're fed up with the dollar's dominance and the economic leverage the US has because of it, especially amid rising sanctions. Now, Trump's threat is significant. A 100% tariff would make exporting goods to the US extremely expensive for these countries. This could lead to a trade war, disrupting global markets and supply chains. Think higher prices for goods, slower economic growth, and increased tension between major economies. Let's break down the potential impacts on some key players. First, the United States. Implementing such tariffs could hurt American consumers by increasing the cost of imported goods. Inflation could rise, and this might backfire on the U.S. economy as consumer spending drops. Next, India. As a BRICS nation, India has been diversifying its trade partners and exploring new currency arrangements. However, facing such tariffs, India might need to rethink its approach. Increased costs could hurt India's export-driven sectors, impacting its economic growth. For the global trade landscape, this shift away from the dollar could lead to the creation of a new, multipolar financial system. While this might reduce the U.S.'s economic influence, it could also bring about more stability by spreading economic power more evenly across the globe. But remember, it's not just about money. This move could also reshape geopolitical alliances. BRICS nations might grow closer, seeking to strengthen economic ties and reduce their dependence on Western economies. This could lead to a new era of international relations, with significant consequences for global diplomacy. In conclusion, Trump's threat to BRICS over the dollar shift is more than a headline. It's a potential catalyst for profound changes in global trade and economic power structures. Whether this will lead to a more balanced world economy or spark new conflicts remains to be seen. So keep an eye on this space because the global trade landscape is evolving faster than ever. If you found this breakdown helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on global politics and economics. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Welcome to our channel. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Most of all, enjoy the show. So, Donald Trump threatened India, Russia, and China, the main funders and founders of the BRICS bloc, with a warning. And the reason is more financial than political. Can BRICS come up with their own currency? Why is the U.S. president scared of losing the dollar as the international currency? What could be the repercussions? Well, that's what we're looking at today, and there's a lot at stake here. It's actually kind of a war. It's another form of war. The dollar has been the world reserve currency ever since World War II, or the end of World War II, after the agreement at Bretton Woods. So everybody pegged their currencies to the dollar, and the dollar was pegged to gold. But the U.S. kind of broke ranks because of the Vietnam War. They needed more money, so they went off the dollar standard, and at that moment, it became pure fiat currency. And, I've done videos on this before. This all was brought about by the U.S. using the dollar as a weapon. It is warfare. And they used it through sanctions. So all your money had to go through a U.S. bank. You had to exchange your currency for U.S. dollars to do international trade. And so they were actually holding your money in their banks. And if they didn't like what you stood for, they would sanction you, i.e., not let you get to your money that was in their banks. So essentially the global South, let's call it that, they decided they were tired of being sanctioned, and they set about, I think it was about 15 or so years ago, to counteract the Western monetary system and create their own, and try to get away from a uniplural world to a multipolar world where everybody could use their own currencies. Anyway, yes, that would change things drastically. And the U.S. Generally, if you look in the media, they try to downplay that. But it's just, you have to look at what's going on in the world today, the actions that the U.S. is taking. They kind of joke around saying, oh, BRICS will never work. But if you look at the actions, don't look at what people are saying. Look at the actions, and the actions against the major players in BRICS. That would be Russia and China. So look at what's happening. I'm not going to talk about it, but look at what's happening there. And also at the same time, the tariffs. Now that would be a big hit to these nations, because the U.S., the way the setup was after World War II was that the United States would be the consumers of the world. But in order to be the consumers of the world, you had to have more money. The average American had to have more money. And the game was other countries would make goods, but the average American had so much money that he could afford to buy those goods. So everybody kind of made out, sort of, But when you start sanctioning nations and holding their money, and in this last case with Russia, where we actually not only held their money, but took their money and gave it to Ukraine, their enemies in this war, that made this whole process speed up. So anyway, so it looks like we're taking a two-pronged approach. I'll only talk about the second prong, which is tariffs. So yeah, that could backfire, though. You would be punishing those nations. However, goods and services are produced in these other nations because labor costs are cheap, which means the products are cheap. Well, if you slap a tariff on it, in this case, he said 100% tariff, that would double the price of everything. So the American consumer is going to be paying twice as much. Now, I understand the reasoning behind it. If that happens, then industry in America would probably come back, because if the price of these foreign goods are high, then the American worker can now produce the same thing at the same price. So I get it. So it could be a segue into reindustrializing America, which means more jobs, which is a good thing. However, there will be this time frame of pain. And I don't know that the American people can withstand any more pain. We'll see how that all pans out. But stay tuned. We got more to follow. And hopefully this will all work out. Rachel?
Well, that's the news for tonight. Thank you so much for continually supporting our content. If you did enjoy this video, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, and share this with your friends and family. I'm sure they would find it interesting as well. We're very excited to continue this journey with you. We thank you all for bringing certain stories to our attention, and for continually keeping us updated with certain events around the world.